Lesson number 9. We may be going through in life. Yo, every time. Hey dearies, welcome back to my channel, Convos with him. In today's video, I want to share with you guys some lessons that I learned during quarantine back in March to June of this year. Quite a few countries have gone back into lockdown for the second time as we continue to deal with Miss Rona. This year has been hard for many of us, but even in the midst of all that's taken place, we have to remember that this is just a season. It's not going to last forever and things will get better. There's so much that you can learn from this season that the whole world is uniquely in. But you have to change your perspective and be open to allow God to teach you all the lessons that He wants you to learn in this season. On that note, let's jump into today's video, and this is in no particular order. First lesson that I learned during quarantine was to believe who people show you who they are and when the Holy Spirit confirms it. I always like to see the good in everyone despite how they may treat you or the things they may do to you. But during my time in quarantine, I had a realization where I observed the things people would do and who they show me who they are, and I came to the realization that this is who they are and they are not going to change. I could even reach a point where God, through His Holy Spirit, confirmed that this is who this person is. And I had to accept the fact that, okay, this is this person, they are not going to change. I cannot do anything to make them change unless they want to change themselves. Lesson number 2. Some friendships are draining and I'm not mandated to put any effort into it if it's not adding value to my life. I don't know if I should call these friendships. I guess it's individuals who I would loosely use the term friendship for, who sucks all the life out of you physically and mentally. They just take, and nothing is wrong with you giving and adding value to other people's life, but I do believe it should go both ways. There were people in my life who adds nothing to my life. It just took so much from me when it is I was investing time, making time to talk to them, spending time with them. I sort of realized that it was just taking so much from me that nothing was being invested back into my life. Not to sound selfish, I came to the realization that if it is I don't no longer see that this person is adding anything to my life, or if this friendship is one-sided and I'm pouring out and nothing is pouring into me, then I do not need to make time to talk to you. I do not need to be intentional to you. I do not need to spend time with you. Like, I am not mandated to do those things. The third lesson that I learned is to make time for friends who continue to show you that they want to be a part of your life. There were individuals who I consider friends who I realized that these persons, they continue to show me that they want to be a part of my life. I learned that I have to make time for these people. While each of us may be busy and we have our own lives, I have to make time for the friends who continue to show me that they want to be a part of my life and they are intentional about our friendships. Lesson number 4. Having close female friends, if you're a female, or male friends if you're a guy, in your life is important. Honestly, never really had a lot of female friends. The majority of my friends are guys because I just like to hang out with guys. Like, guys are cool and no drama. But during the season that I'm even in and during quarantine, like, I realized how important it is to have female friends into my life. Friends who can be accountable to me, speak life into me, encourage me, be 100 with me, and call me out on things when I'm not doing the right thing. For example, during quarantine, I was catching up with one of my very good female friends. We were catching up on life, sharing with each other what's going on and decisions and things that we have to do in our life. After our conversation, I got so much of clarity and direction in terms of things that I needed to do and decisions that I needed to make at that point from our conversation. I just saw how God used her to really just bring clarity and direction into my life. It really made me appreciate having close female friends who I can confide in and who I can be honest and open with about things that may be going on in my life. Lesson number 5. The 5th lesson that I learned during quarantine was discipline. Prior to COVID and the world going into lockdown and quarantine, I had a 9 to 5 job, working through the week, home on weekends, and it was just like this cycle of work, home, work, home, work, home, repeat. But with the country being on lockdown and everyone being at home, I had so much of free time to do anything that I wanted to do. I could have used my time to watch Netflix all day, watch YouTube videos, sit around the house and do nothing and just be lazy. Honestly, as we went into lockdown, I felt as if I needed to use this time to spend more time with God, and I felt that God wanted me to be more disciplined when it came to spending time with Him. So I developed this daily routine with regards to being intentional and making time for God, by doing daily devotion, spending intentional time in prayer, worship, and this habit of every day doing this. It has helped me to be more disciplined when it comes to spending time with God. Even post quarantine, this routine has taken me through where I am now, and even the things that I am doing now. I am so disciplined with all the different things that I am working on now, and I really do believe that it's because of that foundation that was set earlier this year that I was able to be focused with everything that I am doing presently. So discipline for me is one of the major lessons I learned during quarantine. The 6th lesson that I learned was learning to bring everything to God in prayer. During that time in quarantine and everything that was taking place and everything just being so up in the air, not knowing what was going to happen next, it was hard to bring everything to God and to talk to God. But I realized that it was okay to bring everything to God in prayer. The small things, the big things, the things that I think He doesn't care about, I realized that it was okay to actually talk to God about these things and lay everything before God. Sometimes I feel we just can become so stressed out by everything that may be going on, worried about our plans for the remaining of the year, decisions that we have to make, things that we want to do, and just not seeing the outcome of it, especially with all the uncertainty that was taking place in the world. But for me, God really showed me that I can bring everything to Him in prayer. I can give everything to Him and know that there is nothing that is taking place in my life He doesn't care about. He really do care about everything concerning us. Even with decisions I had to make, changes that was taking place in my life during this time, it really helped me to trust God and to feel confident knowing that I can give this to God and He is there and He cares about what is happening in my life. Lesson number 7. Trying and doing things I like. There are things that I'll see and I'll say to myself, I really love this, I want to try this, I want to do this, but then I'll tell myself immediately, okay, you're not gonna look good in this, or you're not good at this. And I will literally rob myself the opportunity of trying and doing something different that I like. An example of this during quarantine was, I remember watching a YouTube video of someone doing a hairstyle. It was a common hairstyle and a hairstyle that I saw before. But in the past, I always told myself, girl, you ain't gonna look good with that. Your head too big, your forehead too big. No, sis, that in for you. And like, I convinced myself that I'm not gonna look good in this hairstyle. And it's not that I didn't like the hairstyle. Like, I actually liked the hairstyle and I wanted to do it. I just didn't believe that I would look good in it. After watching the video, I told myself that, you know what, I'm actually going to try this hairstyle. I can rock this. You got this. So a few days after, I did the hairstyle and your girl killed it. I love that hairstyle. Now I rock that hairstyle sometimes, and I'm so happy that I took the chance and gave myself the opportunity to try it and to realize that I actually like it. Another example of this is, I remember a while back there was like this fashion trend that was going on. It was popular in the US, and when I would see people rocking it, I'd be like, yo, that person looks so good with that. But I would say to myself, you're not gonna look good in that. Your legs too bony, you too skinny. Sis, that ain't for you. During quarantine, I saw the trend again, looking at clothes online. Don't judge. I was like, you know what? I am going to buy this. I am going to try this trend. I believe that I would look good in this. And it made me take that chance to say, okay, I'm going to try this new trend. It made me add it to my wish list with hopes of buying it in the future. Even if I buy it and it doesn't look good, at least I know I still tried it. I didn't rob myself the opportunity of not trying it and not seeing whether it is I like it or if it looks good on me. There are so much times in the past where there were things I wanted to try and things that I wanted to do, things that I like, but I guess because of doubt, I'll convince myself that you're not gonna be good at that, you're not gonna look good in that, so I just never give myself the opportunity to do it. Because of this, now I have gained the perspective where I try things. Whether it is I know I would like it or not, I allow myself to have that opportunity and that experience to see if it is I actually like it or if this works for me. I give myself that chance, and for the most part, a lot of the times it actually works out pretty good. So the 8th lesson that I learned was, it's never too late to learn a new skill or try something new or something you've always wanted to learn to do. I know for quarantine, oh my gosh, you were seeing so much people posted videos and photos of them cooking and trying new things, and yo, everyone turned chef. But for me, because of culture and society, there's always like so much of pressure in terms of when it is you should do something, when it is you should gain something. There's always a limit in terms of your age when you should accomplish certain things, and because of that pressure we have from society and even from ourselves, we tend to not try new things and do things because we feel as if we are too old to do it. Something that I always wanted to learn to do was to kinro hair. It was a skill that I always wanted to learn to do. I'll see people do it and be like, wow, I wish I could kinro my own hair, like that looks so good. But I never took the time to learn it. And I always believe that I'm too old to learn to do this. Everyone learns it when they were younger. Now I'm old, I can't learn it now. There was this day, I just told myself, you know what? I am going to learn to kinro hair. Before quarantine is over, I am going to learn how to kinro my hair. I went on YouTube, watched some tutorials, and then I tried it. Of course, it didn't come out perfect, but I did it. And as the week progressed and I tried it again, I got better, and I'm still learning and still improving that skill. A lot of times there are things that we want to do, but because of pressure on age limits and just even pressure that we put on ourselves, we convince ourselves that we cannot learn this new skill, or we cannot do this new thing, or just things that we always wanted to do from young. We convince ourselves that it's too late. Listen, it is never too late. Whatever it is, go and try it. Take that course, whether it's cooking, you want to learn how to bake, you want to learn how to sew, you want to learn how to swim, just do it. It is possible. Lesson number 9. I put a lot of limits on myself, which lead me to believe that I am not capable of doing things, so then I don't make the effort to do it, and I don't believe that I can do it. For me in general, I find myself sometimes comparing myself to a lot of people who may be quote unquote better than me and have more knowledge and experience in things that I may be doing or things that I want to do. And because of this, I would convince myself and put a limit on myself and tell myself that, okay, you are only capable of doing this. Your skills can only reach this far. You cannot reach to their level. You cannot do what they are doing. And it's okay to have people who you look up to, but the problem comes in when it is you start comparing yourself to those persons. I have put so much of limits on myself. It has prevented me from taking risk and expanding my knowledge and wanting to experience more and learn more in whatever field I may be in or things that I may be doing. Like, I convince myself that I cannot do what other people is doing. I cannot gain that knowledge what other people have, and I just limit myself and realize that, yo, sis, you've got so much ability and so much potential to do great things, but because of this comparison and because of the limits that I put on myself and I tell myself that I can only reach this far, it stops me from actually pursuing and going above what I already have. It's just something that I learned during quarantine, and now I have gained more confidence, and I'm still getting better at it, but I've gained so much confidence in believing in my skills and in my talents and believing in myself and knowing that I can do it and I can be as good and even better than other people. The 10th and final lesson that I'll share with you guys that I learned during quarantine is fear is a generational curse. This one is kind of personal. It's all getting into a lot of details. So I'll just say that sometimes you have to be really careful about people who you share your vision and your goals with, because whether it be family or friends or your environment that you may be in, people who is around you, you have to be careful, because people tend to take their own experiences and their own fears that they have for themselves and tend to want to put them on you. I have realized that you can't stop people from having their opinion, and you can't stop people from having their own fears and wanting to put that on you. What I've learned is that if I share something with someone and they are just negative, or they try to make me fearful and want me to change my mind about doing that, I hear you, I listen to what they say, but I let that just roll off my shoulder. Like, I don't ponder on it, I don't meditate on it, I don't think about it. I always reassure myself that you can do this, you can accomplish this goal, and you will accomplish this goal, despite what other people may say, despite how other people may feel about it. I know what I am called to do, and I know my purpose. And sometimes there are people who do not understand your calling and may not understand your purpose, and that's okay. But I cannot let your fears affect me and what it is I want to do with my life. These are just some of the lessons that I learned in quarantine earlier this year. Let's jump into today's Sis Quote of the Day segment. Today's quote says, "Keep your head up sis. This year has been hard for many of us. We've had to adapt to a new normal and to accept changes in many areas of our life because of a global pandemic that we are currently in. Even with all that's taking place in the world, you have to remember to keep your head up and don't let your current circumstance and season steal your joy. I really do believe that there are so many lessons that God may want you to learn in this season and things that He wants you to do in this season as well. But you have to keep your head up. You have to change your perspective and be open to allow God to teach you all these lessons and to show you the things that He wants you to do in this season. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope that you were encouraged from my lessons that I learned during quarantine, and leave me a comment below with one lesson that you learned during your time in lockdown or in quarantine. I'd love to hear from you guys. Until then, see you in my next video. Bye.